Hi guys, it's been forever. So I have anything I had in schedule in general. I was going to also cover the reviews of things what that I missed when I didn't have a live stream. So it's I'm going back like maybe 2 weeks and figuring that stuff out. But yeah, that sounds like a fun time. Um, I guess we'll start off with a good one. Oh my god, there's so much going on that I have to like get get a hold of, you know? But yes. So we're gonna talk about accepting apologies that never came, and we're also gonna uh Music Mondays that I didn't cover. Tuesday is written blog posts as per usual, things I might have learned on Wednesday. But yeah, that's the whole gist of today. And also we're gonna do a mukbang and talking about upcoming things, I suppose. Because that's just what we're doing this week. It is the 8th of September, I do believe, and it's kind of wild because I have things planned in the future. Um, should I talk about it already? Should we discuss what's going on? I don't know. We good? We good? Is this on? Is this on? Okay, so um, I have a lot of things planned this week, uh, this month actually, and I guess we can talk about that in the because what else do I have to offer? Um, so this coming Saturday is a full moon? What are you talking about? Yeah. This coming Saturday is a full moon, and so to celebrate that, I guess I'm going to get a bunch of piercings on Saturday, and so that's gonna be fun. On Saturday, I'm going to get my nostril pierced and my navel pierced, and that's gonna be my week thing for Saturday. Um, that's Wednesday, yesterday, I looked into vegan my VTuber because I have a character. I just haven't had I haven't had it rigged yet, you know. So that's incoming. I've looked into that. I have an idea and I have somebody that I want to talk to about that. And so that's incoming. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be like this month, but it's been decided and everything's going forward with that. And that's going to be exciting. Oh my gosh, because that's kind of what I wanted to do the so long, the being of my VTuber. And I guess in the future, like I mean, I have to look in the future. Um, Anything else happening? I don't think there's anything happening. Well, so I had to double check. Um, I had to double check, but I don't think anything is necessarily happening. Near the end of September, I'm gonna have another nephew. That's totally not in my control, but yeah, gonna have a new nephew. That's exciting. And the other stuff is because I'm trying to also balance finances, of course. I think that I'm gonna get those piercings, and then I think I'm good to go for this month. I think I get the piercings and then I get the VTube assets, and then that'll cover September because the VTuber thing has been on me since like February. Like honestly, I've been trying. It's been a long, grueling process, but I think I'm ending that process very soon. I'm super psyched about that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so um let's start with I have two songs that I did. The two songs to cover this whole week, this whole I guess this whole week will be summarized by Third Eye Blind's Jumper, which is the cover of uh Third Eye Blind. And the other song is a song that I wrote pretty fairly recently, and it's called Pumpkin Landing. Let's see what I can do. We'll also talk about accepting apologies later on in the video. What's that? So this is from like 2 weeks ago, I do believe. 3 weeks ago. Wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. You could cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in. And if you do not want to see me again, I would understand. I would understand. Think for a bit to insane. Icing over secret pain. You know you don't belong. You're the first fight way too loud. You're the flashing light on the very shroud. I know something wrong. When everyone I know has got a reason to say you can put the past away. Wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. You could cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in. And if you do not want to see me again, I would understand. I would understand. It was on the table and it's got to go. And I don't think anyone knows what they're doing. And it feels like you've been dismissed. I never thought it would come to this. I want you to know everyone's gonna face to face down the demons. Maybe today you can put the past away. Wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. You could cut ties with all the lies you've been living in. And if you do not want to see me again, I would understand. I would understand. I would understand. You could put the past away. Wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. I will understand if you step back from that ledge, my friend. I will understand if you would step back from that ledge, my friend. And I will understand if you step back from that ledge, my friend. Now I understand if you step back from that ledge, my friend. Now would I understand. If we're doing this weekly, I think I could work on Tuesday, and Tuesday's blog post is all called "And Three More Bunnies," which I can show you. I think I'm going to do either a TikTok or something with my three bunnies, and they are downstairs. Well, they're outside right now, but I will definitely show you guys more about the bunnies in time. Let's see if I can show you the bunnies. So, uh, yeah, yeah. Okay. The three bunnies are here. The bottom one is Link. He's my beloved forevermore. In the middle, that one we call Mocha. And the one on top is Mochi. Mochi is like pure white. And interestingly enough, from what I've learned with the bunnies, is Mochi, when I first met her, she fell asleep. Awesome queen, keep it up. So I kind of have a nickname for her, calling her Sleepyhead Junior, because she sleeps a lot, an awful lot. Um, so Mocha's awesome. She's the cutest bunny that I ever come across. She is very affectionate, and I really do love her. To keep it clear, Mocha and Mochi are both females, and Link is the dominant male. And I'm building a harem for him. That's the next thing. That may or may not be incoming next week. Is I'm gonna go to the bunny cafe and just check out the bunnies down and like, find a new partner for Link because I want to give him as many options as possible. So definitely, we're looking to just go into the bunny cafe for just a new experience. The following week, nothing's set in stone, but that's probably gonna be like next Wednesday or something. But anyways, bunnies are the cutest bunnies that I ever did see right now. They're outside having fun. It's so cute. Like the two females will like sleep together and they'll be like they'll become the litter mate, so they're really comfortable with each other. And then Link's there and they will like nurture each other and lick each other and stuff. And I'm like, but definitely Mochi, the pure white one, is of course the names I came up with, so that's incoming for any name actually. But Mochi's pure white, 100% white. And of course, I want to call her in brackets Sleepyhead Junior because she's not Sleepyhead, but she is definitely a genius. So definitely, I would love for Mochi to be called Sleepyhead because she sleeps a lot. Actually, like the only thing is that Sleepyhead is a female, so that's the thing. But I would love to love and represent Sleepyhead again in Sleepyhead Junior or Yeah, I would be junior because she's only like 3 months old now. But yes, definitely, I would love, love, love that, and I definitely want to maybe post something on TikTok or something about the bunnies. So far they have had lots of coverage on my Instagram, video coverage, and I would love to keep that coming because they do, in fact, they're so cute, and I love them so much. Um, but I think I should talk about this. I think that's kind of the reason why I dropped off on like streaming because a lot of things happened like 2 weeks ago or something, and I didn't know what to make of it because it's kind of it was a really hard day. The day like 2 weeks ago, what was it? May I actually name it? It's like honestly like 2 weeks ago. Hmm. It may be like August 22nd. That was a really rough day for me. For many reasons. That's kind of why today's stream was kind of called "Accepting Apologies That You Never Received." So I guess we'll talk about that soon. But on that day, is when I lost. It's when I lost Yukina. So it was totally not a fun day. It was awful. Um, it was a rough day for me for many reasons. I was encouraged to go out to dinner and a show, but I didn't want to because I wanted to stay home because my bunny wasn't doing well. And yeah, that was definitely a big turning point that day. It was a really rough day for me. And I don't know, it's not having Yukina is pretty effing awful. I don't really want to talk about the details about Yukina and her passing, but suffice to say, I lost Yukina on that day. And it's okay because I ended up with a song based off of it, and it's called "Pumpkin Landing," which we can cover right now. But definitely, it's a rough and kind of pretty sore topic of the fact that I lost Yukina on I think August 22nd or something like that. But it was not a fun day. Not a fun day. I know, I know. This next song is called Pumpkin Landing. There's many references to Legend of Zelda in it, and of course, it's based upon my now past rabbit. So hopefully you enjoy it. I don't know, I'm not sure. I don't think I trust her. I like you, let's clue. We don't even need a room in the falling snow. Or come pumpkin land, you and I together, laughing as much as we can. And no clue, I could never learn how to trust her, but like you, so let's go. We don't even need a room in the changing room. In the falling snow, back on pumpkin land, you and I together, loving as much as we can. Do I love her? Maybe, but I'll love you forever. Truly, in the falling snow, back on pumpkin land, you and I together, loving as much as we can. Forever truly, and in the falling snow, back on pumpkin land, you and I together, loving as much as we can. What? Sure. What? No thanks. Okay. And following on Tuesday I posted a vlog on trusting the process because after I had posted a song, it comes everything feels right when I follow the schedule that I had originally come up with. So definitely Monday was great. So I'm gonna do something musical on Monday. I'm set. Tuesday I write, and things well. Like I mean, I don't think I need to explain my schedule anymore than it usually is. But Tuesdays usually I'm like writing. Usually I'm writing a blog. I've kind of strayed off into writing poetry stuff. And Wednesday I learned something new, and the things I learned that were new was graphics tablets and YouTube VTuber rigging, which is what I kind of committed myself to this last week or so. So definitely that's fun. I think It's like things that I learned that are new. I commit to learning things that are new, clearly. So, as long as I'm learning something new, I think that that's all that Wednesday is responsible for. I also infuse like exercise on that day too, and just having a fun time on Wednesdays where I would just learn learn something new. It's kind of like sometimes it's yoga, sometimes it's learning a new language. I would really love to learn Farsi one of these days. But I have also covered on Tuesday, not Tuesday, on Twitter, which I think was kind of like a bit weird looking back on it, how I have Japanese and I have Korean and I have uh just general stuff that languages that I know that I would just like say something in another language, and it's kind of like okay, if it's like a weird somebody else looking at it, they'll be like what, because as much as I'm like fluent, 100%, like I mean I can't even argue with that anymore. That I'm an English speaker, but I also speak French and I also speak Japanese, and I try my hardest to speak Spanish and Korean. My Korean's really bad. I have to relearn my Korean, but I'm trying my hardest to learn all these things. And like right now, it's all like I can speak English without even thinking about it. Like, but with all the other ones, I can speak it and I can understand it. So it's kind of like it's an uphill battle. But I do think that if I all of a sudden started talking in a different language, it's kind of weird. I would love if I could learn Farsi, honestly. That's one thing I learned today. Is because Farsi looks so pretty, written out. But I don't know. It's like things that I've come across. Um, because I learned Japanese, and I think it's like passport Japanese now because I've been to Japan. But Japanese is fun. I like Japanese. Um, although my uh, what's it? My kanji is like not there. But it's fine. I have passport stuff. And there's also French, which I think French is kind of like arguably easier for me because not necessarily easier, but like I learned French in high school, so I kind of know French un peu, and I have kind of a little bit of grasp of Spanish. But Spanish was kind of interesting because when I went to Spanish lands, like Central America and stuff, I also kind of mix it up with like Portuguese or whatever. So I don't know if I necessarily have a handle on either of those, but I can get away with both of them. It's weird because I have noticed the circles I run in that it's kind of like odd that all of a sudden now you have to know Spanish. All of a sudden you have to know French. For some reason, somebody's talking to me in Korean. I'm like, okay, and I just go with it because like I learn of the few pieces of every language I know is kind of like, okay, I guess I know it. I know it enough to get by, I suppose. But it's kind of like I don't want to be quizzed on it or whatever. But I have the gist of it. Um, but I can bust out any language really. One of the five, English, French, Korean, Japanese, and English, Japanese, Spanish maybe. Like I mean, I try. I haven't committed that hard to it, but I would like to have those in my back pocket kind of situation. But yeah, I think English is language is definitely one of those things that I want to master. I have been playing around with the idea of learning Mandarin as well because I have arguably Mandarin blood in me, because I have a bit of Chinese, and they will be speaking Mandarin, I do believe. So I have a bunch of languages that I want to. put out there and learn and know what I'm talking about. But it's weird because I'll be just be by being online, people speaking different languages, and I'm like, oh shit, now I have to know how to speak this language. So I think one thing that come up is like Spanish. I have to know. Like for example, one of the songs I have that I wrote recently is "Oh Mano Candle." So that's definitely a Spanish song, and there's been poems I've been writing in Japanese, and it's like ridiculous that I'm trying to get a handle on my languages, but it's kind of like at the same time, the only language I really speak fluently, like all the effing time, is English. So I'll try when I'm online, but don't push it. Don't push your luck, kind of situation. Anyways, as I said, back on pumpkin land. Yes, so I guess the Thursday or Wednesday-esque stuff would be just the graphics tablet, which I'm still working on, and the rigging stuff, which soon enough, like honestly, I do believe like it's imminent that I'm gonna have a VTuber rigged for me and it's gonna be wild and I'm gonna be super psyched. But yes, that would be the whole situation about the weekly recap. But I do want to get into if I have it written down somewhere. Okay, so this is all based off of August 22nd, I do believe, because that was a really rough day for me. I don't want to really want to talk about it, so much so, but basically, it was a tough day because I was going through stuff. It was kind of the day that I had to accept this gift from my brother. It was like identically the same day that that stuff was going down, and I was putting my rabbit away, and bad things happened with my rabbit. And of course, worst day ever for me because I had to say goodbye to my rabbit, and I was so upset. So again, it took me a week or two, but I wrote a song about it. Of course, it's called Pumpkin Landing because, well, my rabbit's name is Yukina, Yuki Snow. Kina is a character in Legend of Zelda, and so I kind of threw it out all together. You heard it recently today, and oh gosh, it's wild to think about everything right now because it's like saying goodbye to Yukina, who honestly, for me, with her, we it was weird. She didn't really trust me a lot. I wish she did, but she didn't. And there was so much more to our relationship, but it made in the end, Link was happy with her, and they were like mated for life. So I'm happy that they were happy, but at the same time, like sometimes you're like, I wish that day never happened, but things happen. So I had to say goodbye to my rabbit, and I can be super sad about that because it was also kind of the day also compounded with me saying goodbye to Yukina and then realizing that I similarly had to say goodbye to Devi because she died of a similar response, a similar reason to why Yukina went away. And it's hard to say because I feel like a bad bunny mom, of course, because you don't want your bunnies to like die on you. So that sucked. But the following week or so, we drove all the way to like interior BC to pick up another rabbit. And because we were driving so effing long, it was like an hour or so drive. We got two rabbits, and I ended up with this pure white one, which I call Ghostface Killer sometimes, and then the what do you call it, like a brown and white one? The brown and white was so adorable. I called her Mocha, and she's so kind. She's so sweet. And of course, again, I don't want to talk about the bunnies so much anymore, except to say that I will post a lot more videos on Twitter and Instagram about them. They're so happy all together. They are so cute. They love each other so much, and I'm so happy that they exist. And I think Link is happy too, because there was a time when um, Link was not happy with life, and he was really kind of distraught when we didn't have Yukina anymore. Like it was to the point where like when she was dying, he was like not lying down next to her. And it's I don't want my rabbits to ever be upset or distressed in any way, but I guess stuff goes down. You can't you can't change it, I suppose. Um, except to learn from my mistakes in the past. And definitely, like I mean, that was back when I was like when I was playing, of course, Legend of Zelda, and I was stuck on what was it? Was it the imprisoned battle or something? Something like that? I'm not sure. I might have posted it on Twitter sometime. I'm not sure. I don't remember. Um, but it was like a long time that I did that, and I didn't feel like I could ever accomplish it because I was so upset about my rabbit going away. And eventually I did, and now I'm on the Tad tones currently. So there was that. But yep, it was a hard day that I eventually had to accept and pass. But one thing I had to accept was that that whole day was like I should have gotten apologies for that day. And so one of the first things I did when I got home was like I searched up how to accept apologies when they were never given to you. And so guess I have this written down here. Apologies say more about the person's character than about your worth. Saying sorry, saying thank you, it all reflects your personhood, I would say. We view an apology as a basic ritual of societal order that preserves a sense of fairness and responsibility. Apologizing has become almost a knee-jerk reaction for many. How often they bumped into somebody, or inadvertently cut someone off with the grocery cart and had the word sorry out of your mouth without thinking. Even in such a minor interaction without much empathy or remorse behind the word, an apology still carries importance. When it is uttered, it is acknowledged the infraction and its impact on the other person. When nothing is said, the other person feels invisible and insignificant. It's basically by saying like, I see you. I acknowledge you. Never allow a person to be questionable of a character to determine your worth. Expect apologies to have inherent sense of fairness and balance of how things should be. Don't allow somebody else's shortcomings to become your limitations. Apologies can never undo what was done. They are not a magical eraser that removes any hurtful words or caustic actions. That we imbue them with these special powers, we increase our expectations to a level that can never be reached. No apology has ever been good enough to abolish the pain and reverse the damage, just as you cannot control somebody else's apology, they cannot mitigate your suffering. Grab a plate and throw it to the ground. Okay, done. Did it break? Yes. Now say sorry to it. Sorry. Did it get back to the way it was before? No. Do you understand now? Do we need to apologize? Apology is a lack of reflection to the other person's character, not your worth. To accept responsibility, they are telling you that they are not who you think they are. When someone is too cowardly to admit fault, they are showing you their shortcomings and not yours. And just because somebody displays an utter lack of empathy does not mean your pain is not real and valid. When you wait for an apology, you are allowing the person who harmed you to continue to harm you. You're letting them decide if you get to be okay again. And it is really a decision you want to place in the hands of someone who takes empathy and courage. And is that really something that you want to do? If this person is still involved in your life and you're unable and unwilling to authentically apologize, take a good look at boundaries. Is this someone that you want to remain in your life? I refuse to let a defect in my ex's character create one in mine. How can you accept an apology you never received? The most critical component of accepting an apology you never received is to eliminate any magical thinking that you have about apologies. They are no holy grail of healing. They do not have the power to erase what has happened. Once you realize that, it becomes easier to let go of the driving need for acknowledgement and amends. An apology is only required if you give it that power. Your well being should not hinge on someone else's shortcomings. Their inability to accept responsibility is their problem, not yours. Your healing is your responsibility. Accept it. If you're having trouble accepting an apology you never received, this can also help. Don't expect the person that hurt you to be the person that saves you. And I believe it's also similar to the idea that apologies are also like taking poison and expecting the other person to die and holding a hot coal. It's ideas that I think Nelson Mandela said. Um, I think in general I would have made a whole post about accepting apologies that you never received, but a lot of things happened. Weeks went by. I felt I was sick. I lost my rabbit. Like there were many excuses, but I think it was important to also just say that we should, regardless of what happened, it also is a reason that you should move on from what has happened and have a hold on things. Um, Even though you will never receive that apology, it's kind of like getting somebody else to say you're sorry, even though you know it's not accurate, it's not true. You have to have your own peace of mind with it, as opposed to not having a peace of mind with it, I suppose. It's like if you receive an apology, that'll be your like you can go to sleep at night kind of situation. But if you never receive it, you have to figure out a way to be okay with that regardless. So no matter what, you can only control what you do and what you say and how you react, as opposed to relying so heavily on somebody else's opinion of you and on somebody else's actions. You can only really work on your responses to everything. So, as much as you should perhaps receive an apology regardless of what happened, sometimes you just have to make peace with it by yourself because sometimes an apology might not come. And so it's kind of like I would put this in the what is one called the doobly doo below, but definitely accepting apologies that never was received. It's a shame, but you have to make your own peace with it, and that's definitely one of the first things I said was like, accepting apologies. Yeah, so definitely find a way to make peace with it by yourself. One of the things that I originally did, they said about accepting apologies is the general idea of apologies and how you accept them and stuff like that. But the thing is that if you never get the apology, you have to find your way to work with that. Even if you never got the okay, I'm sorry situation, you should just find a way to be like, okay, I deserve an apology, but I'm not gonna get it. That's okay. Let's move on from here. Um, it's just figuring it out how you are okay with that. I think that's like kind of like the bottom line of things is being okay regardless of what anybody else says or does. And I personally thought that what happened on the 22nd was a difficult time for me, and it was probably something that would have benefited if somebody apologized to me, because I was doing something that I didn't want to do, and I had to say goodbye to somebody I loved so dearly, and not necessarily that. I think it was like a week before that I had a vlog on cause and effect. So no matter what, things went down, and it would be nice if I got an apology. But in the end, life doesn't work like that. I guess you just have to move on regardless of whatever happened. So not that anybody necessarily killed my rabbit, but it would be have been nice if somebody said, "I'm sorry you feel that way. Let's move on from here," and just being okay with like the hurt that may have been caused by somebody's actions. And it would have been nice if those actions were, I guess, given apology or given an excuse to exist. But at the end of the day, I think the ending is no matter what, you would try and we're here now. This is just what happened. This is what existed. You accept an apology that you never received, and you just have to through it. It's like there are different ways that I also looked at, like even before all of this happened, is all the things that you're responsible for and all the things that other people are responsible for. And usually it's like a circle where like, your responsibilities versus other people's responsibilities, and really your how you react and how you feel. It's kind of your own situation. So it's like it depends on how much you toe the line of like accepting other people's what they are saying and doing, how much it's going to affect you. And so that's the way that's kind of like, oh, well, need that apology to enjoy life or make my life happier or whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but it would be nice. That's what I'm saying. Accepting apologies you never received is the gist of the day. Um, I think it's getting dark out, so I have to get my rabbits in. But yes, that's the list. I wanted to do a cover of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and talk about how great things could be. So I'm probably gonna do another live stream next Thursday, and of course there'll be more coverage of my rabbits on TikTok and Instagram. But definitely, I will see you guys when I see you guys. Love X lyrics. Bye.